Hello guys, and this is my personal opinion to Spider-Man's PS4 game that just came out. I'm not gonna lie, first things first, don't forget, major spoilers ahead. And yeah, let's get right into it. As you can tell right away as the background gameplay, the swinging in this game is honestly really amazing, and I haven't felt a really true Spider-Man game that made me feel immersed. It's honestly the best I've ever seen, and I love it. They did a fantastic job with it. Subtle, very awesome Easter eggs are very nice. Once again, major spoiler, so watch at your own will. I really like the uniqueness, basically, after Aunt May dies. It's really cool how they even have the graves, just a subtle, the subtle change that they have with it, because usually in video games when someone dies you don't expect them to be buried next to their husband, because in the beginning of the game she obviously is not dead and she's not there, but I did not expect them to do this for some reason. I don't know why, I just didn't expect them, Insomniac, to actually put her grave next to his once she does die in the end of the game, which was really nice. The combat in this game seems honestly the best. I'm also liking it. The thing that actually about the combat though, what I didn't like, the enemies are either too hard or too easy. I feel like there's no in between where you feel like there's an actual challenge. I am playing on normal difficulty, by the way, just to let everyone know. But yeah, so when I'm fighting, these thugs, it seems very easy, and then you move over maybe to Sable Control guys. You'll see them later in the game if you're early on, and it's honestly the hardest thing I've ever played. There's no in between. That's really one thing I feel like I want a challenge, but at the same time I don't want to feel like I'm overpowered. I mean, you're Spider-Man, you're supposed to feel like a superhero. But yeah, Sable Control makes it really hard to do anything. You can barely hit, you can block. Another thing that happens a lot is obviously this. As you can tell, they always get stuck on stuff no matter where it is, so you have to kind of... It is annoying at points, I will admit, especially key points in the game. The suits. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, they are okay. Like this one, I like this one a lot, but some of them just feel outrageous. This is the Homecoming one, I like this one. But like, I don't know why, seeing that doesn't make me feel like I'm Spider-Man, it makes me feel like I'm Ghost Rider in the wrong game. It just doesn't look properly fit. Like that one I like, I guess. This one's obviously from Avengers if you've seen it. I don't like that one for some, like, maybe it's just me. Like this one, no, it just doesn't make me feel like Spider-Man, The rest are so, the best one obviously here is the vintage comic book suit. It makes you look like a comic book character, which is honestly really cool. And yeah, it's honestly the best thing in the world. I'm not gonna lie. This is the best suit they could come up with. I use it all the time if I can. I was just using the old one for a few. But we're gonna stick with this. One thing I really do like about this game is the landmarks. Obviously here you have Natural History Museum of Manhattan, which I have went to before. It's really nice. Obviously, it's also in that movie Night of National History, I think. Haven't seen the movie in a while. I'm sorry if I got that wrong. National History, something like that. But yeah, I really like seeing the landmarks just around New York, all the iconic ones, which I'm going to show you now. Obviously, another iconic Manhattan, Radio City. Iconic place. I've also been there. I've been on stage, which was actually really cool for a field trip when I lived in New York. Here it is. Obviously, once again, very iconic. If you've ever been to Manhattan, a lot of people love Radio City. Now we're gonna actually talk storyline. So, also once again, major spoilers. We're gonna be talking mostly about the villains and ending cutscenes. So, yeah, please, once again, watch at your own will. First things first, the villains I kinda thought were sometimes too easy, even when you were fighting them, because in some points of the missions you had to fight like Rhino and Scorpion, on a 1v2 battle, and it was just a tad bit too easy. I felt like it was more, it didn't feel more like you being Spider-Man, you know, being the hero, quote unquote, and fighting them. It felt more like a comic book or a child's book, where you would try and fight them, make really bad jokes, and they would just get mad at each other because you're not doing nothing. Nothing's going right for them, and they would just start yelling at each other, and then they start fighting. So yeah, that kind of didn't make my didn't feel Spider-Man-ish to me. It just felt like something really bad out of a child's book. Like now, the last boss, obviously the sixth person in the group, Doc Otta. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it was an amazing boss fight. But once again, it could have been better. It felt too easy. After like 3 hits, he would get stunned, and then you would just have to triangle circle him, which is basically your special move. And then he would go down, and then, you know, just repeat, and then you would have to dodge his... It was just a sequence of patterns, you know? It didn't feel fun. The boss battles were very weak, in my opinion. I'm not gonna lie, it was not fun for me. It was just for Doc Otta's boss fight, it was more just ready. Triangle circle, you know, you stun him, or you hit him, then, you know, you get off him, you stop punching him or whatever. Then he throws a lightning bolt or whatever, his hands at you, his robotic arms on his back at you. Then you dodge, then you hit him 3 times, he gets stunned, triangle circle, and then just a repeat. Yeah, like I said, I don't think I need to say any more. It was very, eh. The ending cutscenes, this is the only part that well, not the only part, but this is one of my fan favorite parts, just because the ending cutscenes were amazing. If you don't know what happened, once again, I said major spoilers 3 times now, but this is honestly the biggest. Obviously, Devil Breath gets into the air, and Aunt May gets affected, and you try and save her, and there you are, Peter Parker or Spider-Man, kind of both in the emotions, not knowing what to do. Save, you know, thousands of lives from Devil Breath, or just save your aunt. It's really heartbreaking to see him cry over the hospital bed after she dies, because he knew what she had to do. Another thing I love is that she knew all along that he was Spider-Man. I honestly did not see that coming. She said, and I quote, she said, "Take off your mask," and I was like, oh, she's gonna find out. And then she said, "I want to see my nephew," and I was like, oh, she already knows. So yeah, that was a really, not a plot twist. I guess it would be a plot twist if you think about it, but it was really cool for some reason. I like that part. Then you got the next scene. Obviously, I didn't care for that much. MJ and Peter Parker, or Spider-Man, I guess. Both of them get back together. I didn't really care for it. I mean, they broke up in the beginning, I believe, of the game or something like that. And then, yeah, they got back together. But I didn't really worry about it. I mean, yeah. Really, oh, yeah, the last cutscene, I believe, that was it. Oh, no, there's 2 more cutscenes. First things first, Miles getting bitten by a radioactive spider and becoming also basically Spider-Man's sidekick was nice. Him getting powers. He's not his sidekick yet. Obviously, we don't know what happens until maybe the first DLC. But it was very nice seeing him get bit. I don't know why, I kind of liked it. I didn't expect it to happen. My friends told me it happens in the comics, but I'm not the biggest Spider-Man fan. Like, I like the games and movies, but I don't read comics and books and all that, so I didn't actually know who Miles was or anything, but I knew he got bit, and I saw it in the cutscene. I was like, oh, that's cool. He shows Peter Parker, and he goes, "Pretty weird, right?" And then Peter Parker jumps onto the ceiling with him and goes, "Not that weird." So I actually did chuckle. I liked it a lot. That was a really good ending cutscene. And then the last but not least cutscene that and I think everyone loved if you played the game, was Norman Osborn and Harry Osborn. Ooh, I loved it. So if you don't know, basically throughout the whole game you'll hear Peter Parker going, and not only Peter Parker but everyone in Spider-Man, like MJ, Norman, saying, oh, you know, Harry's in Europe, you know, he's doing stuff, and his mom died obviously, and he's doing stuff in Europe to help, like, I think it was just to help, like, research factories or something like that, or maybe just a vacation trip. I can't remember that part. I haven't played the game. Last time, story mission I played a few days ago, and I can't remember. But yeah, so you know, you play the game this whole time thinking he's in Europe and he's just not calling you or whatever, and he's not talking to you. And a kind of foreshadowing moment happens when you play a side mission before you beat the game. Obviously, Peter, when you play his research factory, he says like, huh, I wish I could tell Harry, but he's not answering my calls, text, or nothing. He must be very busy in Europe. And I was like, oh yeah, it must be very I kind of just went along with it. I was like, oh yeah, it must be very busy in Europe, you know, because I didn't think of it. Ending cutscene was amazing. Alright, so if you don't know, he basically has a very bad illness, and Devil's Breath was his cure. But obviously we, Spider-Man, stopped that from happening because everyone else was getting affected by Devil's Breath. So Norman goes into a secret like room he has in his house. He opens up this tank, like this metal tank, and all you see is a green liquid flowing through the tank. And some people are speculating the curse or like the sickness he has is him turning into the Green Goblin, which I don't agree with. I think it's just a sickness. And you have this black goo and like these black webs all over him. And at first I was like, what's going on? And then I looked closer, and Norman Osborn, the dad, obviously, puts his hand on the glass tank, and Harry puts this like black goo back. And I just realized in my head, I was like, oh. If you don't know, Harry's Osborn's obviously or most likely going to become Venom, because the black goo I didn't realize was the stuff that was the webs or was Venom's stuff. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not sure how they're gonna do it, because Eddie Brock is in the game. It is confirmed in one of the backpack locations that you find. There's a card and it's signed by Eddie Brock, or like it has Eddie Brock's name on it. So yeah, I don't know how they're gonna do that, but it was really cool seeing Venom and Harry. And yeah, another cutscene that really I kind of loved was the Stan Lee cameo. If you don't know what that is, I definitely recommend you look it up. The Stan Lee cameo was honestly the best thing in the world. I did expect it to happen, but not so early in the game and not like that. Because he was just behind the counter and he was sitting there, and I saw the back of his head. I was like, oh, that kind of looks like, oh, wait a minute. And then I was like, oh, it's Stan Lee, because I heard his voice. That was nice. We're gonna quickly stop talking about cutscenes for a second, talk about some other stuff. Your suit powers. I kind of love all these: Battle Focus, Web Blossom, Sound of Silence, Hollow Decoy, Bulletproof, Rock Out, Electric Punch. All these quad damage, all these are really nice. But the one I love the most that doesn't even help us, there's one called Quips, and Spider-Man basically says a whole bunch of funny lines. Example.
Don't mind me, just doing spider stuff. Tuffets and water spouts.
It's really funny. I definitely recommend to put it on if you don't have it. To get this, you need to unlock the suit I'm wearing now, the 2D spider suit. It's really cool. But yeah, so let's see. We went over combat.
This would all be so much easier if I had a giant robot.
In one quips, he says it would be so much easier if I had a car, kind of like a Spider-Mobile, obviously reference Batmobile. But yeah, I really did like the game. It was really fun. Don't get me wrong, the side missions, I'm not gonna lie, will drag you down just because you're not doing as much. Like once you get out of the story missions, you kind of feel bored just because you were fighting all these like guys and feeling cool, and then like the side missions make you go around and just like fight like 2 guys, and then it's like over, and I'm like, oh well, that sucked. Yeah, other than that, that is my personal review on Spider-Man. If I missed anything, which I don't think I did, suits and all that, landmarks. Yeah, if I missed anything, or you guys want to see a part 2, maybe talking about other stuff about Spider-Man, please let me know.